revolver, a semi-automatic, get whatever gun you can handle. And don't let anyone talk you out of it. The Second Amendment to the Constitution and the United States have the right to have one. Number two, to weaponize your local police department. They are the first line of defense in this Islamic terrorist war against us. And if you watch the San Bernardino attack unfold, you understand that these jihadists were not going to stop with that one attack. The local police are the ones who took down these Islamic terrorists and stopped the further massacre. Your local police, like the cops in San Bernardino, 300 of them running toward the danger, openly stating, "I'll take the first bullet." These are your defenders, and these remarkable men and women in blue are our heroes who don't think twice about taking a bullet for you. Number three, we need to close the borders from Mexico and from Canada. Pure and simple. Syed Farouk and Tashfeen Malik have set the precedent by showing the world that it can be done on American soil. And there needs to be a halt to the issuance of visas.
What's wrong with
and I don't care if it's a business visa or a vacation visa, an education visa, fiance visa, a 90-day visa.
Laid back style.
These people do not have a right to be here, period, end of story. And number four, we must stop the refugee resettlement program immediately. And I don't want to hear that it's not who we are. I know who we are. We are a nation founded on the Judeo-Christian ethics. And I don't want anyone to tell me that I have to take in somebody because they want to change the political demographics of this nation. And need I remind anyone that we don't have the ability to vet them. And even when we do, we don't know what the hell we're doing. Example, the Tsarnaev brothers, the Boston bombers. We gave the family political asylum, and they thanked us by killing, dismembering, and blinding innocent Americans. Number five, get ready to give up some privacy. The metadata collection that was going on has been stopped. If that program were still in place, the feds could have taken the cell phones of those terrorist animals and immediately connected them to their contacts. You've got to arm yourself with knowledge. In order to confront the enemy, you must know who the enemy is. And since our commander-in-chief won't even call them what they are, Islamic terrorists, but instead prefers to preach what Islam is and isn't, and that we shouldn't denigrate all Muslims based on the actions of a few, while he is willing to denigrate all gun owners and take away our rights based on the actions of a few.
Done?
You need to recognize the danger. Talk to your neighbors. Create organizations to say current, unquestionable behavior, not just in your community, but around the country. We're told to say something when we see something, but don't say anything against people who act suspiciously who happen to be Muslim, because that would be Islamophobic. Farouk and Malik's neighbors said nothing when they saw something because they were fearful of being called Islamophobes or racially profiling.
What do you think?
And that's the plan, folks, to shut us up.
I don't know.
When our Attorney General, Loretta Lynch, trumpets her greatest fear is that anti-Muslim rhetoric would lead to violence against Muslims the day before the FBI calls the massacre of 14 Americans a terrorist act. We've got a problem. And I'm here to tell you it is part of the Islamic terrorist plan. If we are stopped from saying something against Muhammad, the Muslim religion, or Muslims in general, then Sharia law is already here. We are living in dangerous times. Ladies and gentlemen, the jackals are at the door. And that's my opening statement. Tell me what you think on my Facebook page or Twitter at Judge Janine, #JusticeOpen.
This is Face the Tribune. My name is Rolando Larraz, and you just listened to Judge Janine Pirro from her show, and that's her opening statement. And we believe strongly on what she said, so we run that statement in our show. With me, as always, my co-host, Feeley, and no guest today, but I have a confirmation that Steve Sampson, president of the Vegas Veterans in Politics International, is going to be here in our first show of the 2016 year. Then it will be turning in Friday. So on Monday, January 4, Steve Sampson will be our guest. Also, the Colombian lady then jump on the stage with Donald Trump will be here either on Tuesday the 5th or on Thursday the 7th. Miriam, I forgot her last name now, but she's going to be our guest. We're going to be talking about her involvement with the Trump election. We're going to be talking about all that stuff and all the publicity that she's been getting for our next president, Mr. Donald Trump. Donald John Trump. That's what it is. Every president has to have a middle name or a middle initial, right, Clark?
Yep.
That's all?
Yeah, I would concur. I can't disagree with the host.
Oh, okay.
You're right.
That's right. This is a free radio station.
Oh,
Free radio, you can have your own opinion as long as it's similar to mine. Yeah. So, we are not doing YouTube today because I'm laying low. I don't have a suit on, and I don't want to show myself in a jogging suit. So, tomorrow, the Las Vegas Tribune will be out, and we are going to have a lot of good articles in this issue of the Las Vegas Tribune. Now, let's go to business. What do you got in there?
oh, just something about this. These lawyers in this town are absolutely the most disingenuous, lying bastards on the
What
planet.
happened now?
This Mitch Kobiega, has decided to oppose my motion for my money that somehow the court here in Nevada stole from New Hampshire. Stole it from New Hampshire. It's my money.
Get the microphone.
There's no
close to your mouth so
dispute as to whose money it is.
Yeah.
None whatsoever. But
Okay.
now I have to listen to this motion from this moron that's full of lies. He's saying I had lost at every turn in this case. I'm the loser. I'm the winner. The only thing I'm fighting is Judge Earl stole a house in New Hampshire that he can't do. He can't do that. That can't be done. Period. Everybody agrees with that. But I gotta listen to these disingenuous lawyers make up lies. Freaking lies. They should be disbarred.
And he is the judge for the.
This is the lawyer who is supposedly representing my sister and my moronic son, my youngest son, who has nothing between his ears but mud and greed.
He's the one that took the place of the one who died, right?
This lawyer, Kobiega, took the play. He's the executor of Reuteman's estate. What the frig is he doing bitching about the appeal for? Who the hell is he? He's feeding from the trough, trying to get fees that Judge Earl set aside for in case I appeal this judge's moronic orders that are void. His orders are void because they go against a Supreme Court decision. They're void. Period. I shouldn't even have to appeal it. And then I gotta listen to the BS from these moronic lawyers who will just lie. I've only read the first sentence. It's full of lies.
That's why I always say that the best way to do things is to stay out of court.
That's fine, but what do you do when you're not getting bank records?
Right.
What do you do?
Because the lawyers are too greedy and they keep putting motions and motions and motions until all the money run out and then they go home. That's the whole thing. You know, they always the same thing. And civil and why do you think most people have to appeal the court decision? Because it's a business. Don't worry about we gonna appeal. Why do we need to appeal? If you would have done a good defense, you don't need to appeal. You know, and this is what bothers me about these people, and they allow to do that.
Well, a judge makes a serious, fatal mistake by thinking that he has jurisdiction to sell another state property. He doesn't have that in his jurisdiction. And furthermore, even if it was in his jurisdiction, trust law prohibits it also, because the home is held in a trust. So everything the judge has done, he can't do. And what do? You have to appeal that. Judges make mistakes. This judge purposely knew he was breaking the law, but what did he want to do? He wanted to pay the lawyers that practiced law before him, because that makes Earl a hero. He's the lawyer's friend. What a friendly court. Come to my court, you'll all get rich. That's what he's promoting. That's his agenda. That makes him feel good. The hell with the beneficiaries. Who the hell are they? They're from New Hampshire anyways. What are they doing coming into my court? Bothering me for? I'll teach them a lesson. I'll steal all their money and give it to my buddies, the lawyers.
So they can contribute to my campaign.
Well, he didn't say that, but that's the reason. That, in conjunction with, that makes him a hero in front of the lawyers, who are the lawyers that file the paperwork with the Review Journal and others on the judges thing that they have during election time. Judge the judges. Who judges the judges? The lawyers. How's a lawyer going to not give a judge a good mark? What kind of case is he going to have before that judge in the future? You think he'll win?
See, I wrote I was reading the editorial that is going to be out tomorrow in Las Vegas Tribune. And I thought that the one that judging the judges is the Review Journal. But you might be right. Between the Review Journal and the attorneys, I don't know which one is worse, but you know, if you advertise with the Review Journal, you get a good judgment, and if you don't, you be bad, you know. So I don't know. It's you know, and the sad part of this, you go to any other country and you tell people what's happening in the court of laws in the United States, and they don't believe you. They think you are exaggerating. They think you're lying. And there it is. The proof is in the pie and the pudding. So, you just find out that?
Yeah, just a second.
Your lawyer text you that? Or?
Yep.
Oh, what did he say?
Well, he's going to reply to it with a motion, I guess, Monday. The hearing is supposed to be decided in chambers on January 7th, so this will probably delay all that. I mean, and this is my money that they have.
That's even better if they can delay it, right?
No.
It is, because if you go there on the 7th and your attorney has not filed that decision or that motion, you probably lose anyway.
Well, no, he's going to answer it in time. He's going to answer it by Monday.
Yeah.
But this is all, I've read a couple more sentences. It's absolutely, absolutely false. Everything in here is false. Now, doesn't an officer of the court, these supposed judges, have an obligation to be candid with the court? How can they go before a court and lie? That's a violation of their ethics, and they should be disbarred. Period. You can't have officers of the court floating false statements, and every statement in here I can prove's a lie. It's just despicable what's going on. This state in Nevada, especially Las Vegas, is my only experience, so that's all I can speak to, is absolutely the most disingenuous, out of control, in space somewhere's rulings. They're in space. And that's not me talking. That's the United States Supreme Court of the United States. They've already ruled on this stuff. Every state creates their own trust law. They have sovereignty.
Right.
Okay? Now, how can one state control the trust in another state? Can you explain that to me? Can a 10th grade student, a 4th grade student explain that to me? They'll say, what are you talking about? That can't be done. But we have a judge, 70-something-year-old judge on a bench in district court in Nevada, doesn't get it? No, he gets it. He's stealing money because he thinks he can get away with it and get a good grade from the lawyers. Something's got to change in this town. Something has to change, I think, in the whole country, because the legal system's been hijacked by lawyers. What are they doing in this case? Trying to get paid. Hello? Is that hard to figure out? Gee, I don't understand where the controversy comes from. It's amazing.
Wow. Well, this is a very interesting case. If you have not familiarized yourself with this case, you need to go to LasVegasTribune.com and read the article that we've been writing for the last 16 weeks in reference to this issue, where the judge has stole the money from the prevailing party to give it to
The losing party. And the losing party's attorneys.
Probably only for the attorneys. I don't think
Yeah,
the
how
losing party
does-
getting anything.
How does the attorney who lost the case and took the case to begin with on a contingency because he thought his client was the trustee of a multi-million-dollar trust? He paid her. What a lucky day, the day she walked into the office, right? Right? So that was his goal, get the money from the trust. The problem with that scenario is this lawyer was so stupid, you can't get money from a trust. It's held in trust. Hello? What don't you understand about that? It's not your money. It's not even the beneficiary's money until they get it. It's held in trust. Well, when the trust has a home, the home is not money. The home is something that the people can use. Okay? They don't own anything. They have the right to use it while we own it. That's it, period. This case is so blatantly over the top, it's just absolutely mind-boggling. And now, these lawyers, this same lawyer that's now objecting to my motion, was just before the court in July, again representing to get fees from the trust for payment to him. This is the lawyer who's representing the estate of the dead lawyer that lost the case, that was working on a contingency. This lawyer, this guy that had nothing to do with the case, who's now representing a dead guy, wants to be paid by my money. I'm the judgment creditor. It's my money. He wants to be paid from that. So he wants to be paid. I told the judge he didn't have jurisdiction, William Gephardt, because the case was up for appeal to be decided. It was before the appellate court. So he did not have subject matter jurisdiction to make an award on attorney fees from the same case that's under appeal over what? Over attorney fees. You can't do that, Judge. Hello, wake up. Now, coincidentally, the guy that was representing this lawyer, who wasn't there that day, some other guy showed up who had nothing to do with the case. Now he represents to the same judge, William Gephardt, that he did not have subject matter jurisdiction. He told the judge the same thing I told the judge. And the judge tells me, you have to understand something, Mr. Feeley. Lawyers need to be paid. I go, what are you talking about? Hold on, Judge, there's a couple lawyers standing out there in the hallway. Let me bring them in here. You can pay them too. What the hell are you talking about? Now, this lawyer, Kobiega, wants to he wants to object to me getting my own money. He's objecting to that. When on the other hand, he wanted to get paid before. So he can be paid, but I can't get my own money? It's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. This court system, no one should ever walk into a court system in Nevada, ever. It's the most corrupt, disingenuous, garbage, kangaroo crap in the world. It's all about the lawyers, that's it. And I had to go to court because my sister was hiding bank records from me. She was doing worse than that. She was making up, or had my youngest son make up in a home-generated computer fraudulent documents purporting to be a bank statement. Now, an idiot that was just born yesterday, let alone last night, could have looked at these goddamn documents and said, what the hell are these? These aren't from the bank. These are generated by your computer. They're phony. And when we went to court, we proved just that. Those were fraudulent documents. So I was stuck. I had to go to court. I had no choice because the legal system is set up and controlled by lawyers to where they have to get involved with their fees and their hourly billings and this and that, and they try to make it into a massive, massive case. This was a case about getting access to bank records, period. That's what it was, period. Give me the records, I'll show she's stealing money, and that's the end of it. Remove her as trustee, that's it. And that's what happened. And this piece of crap lawyer says to the court that I lost? Where did I lose? I won the case. I'm the prevailing party. I got the opposition removed as trustee. I win. And this lawyer can go before the judge with a motion saying I lost? I'm the prevailing party. Judge Earl even said in a motion that I was the prevailing party. It's unbelievable. Sorry I get so upset, but it's just unbelievable. It's over my head how something can be so simple and so distorted by people trying to steal your money. And these are the people that are supposedly in charge of protecting the citizens of this country and protecting the law. Trust law in this country stands by itself. It's been around for centuries and centuries. It's so tested, it's unbelievable. It's the most fundamentally sound principle of law that's ever been around, I think. It's very, very simple. If you create something in your life as an asset and you want to pass it to your heirs, you have the right to do that. And you have the right to do it unencumbered, and you have the right to do it to where it's not subject to greedy vultures trying to prey against it to feed their own self-interest, like lawyers. That's not the purpose for a trust. Well, it is to prevent that. And here you have a court in cahoots and a scheme with the lawyers to break a trust, to pay them? It's unbelievable. We don't even have the money yet. And here's the lawyers keep feeding from something they can't even feed from. It's just beyond me. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And I've run this by in the last 6 years, going on 7 years now. I don't know how many people I've run this case by, and they look at me and they go like, I'm not, there's something I'm missing. You didn't, whatever, that's not possible. I go, yeah, it is possible. Why? Because the system's broken. Why? Because judges are not honest. Why? Is because they think that they walk on water and they can do anything. Judge Earl has made statements in the court in front of everybody and on the record that any ruling I make in this court as to jurisdiction is a rule of law. Who the hell does this guy think he is? He literally thinks he's King Earl, that he can do anything he wants. It's pathetic.
Well, maybe we can do some changes. Hopefully more people are reading those articles that we've been publishing, and hopefully somebody will pay attention to that. But you're still in the appeal court, right?
Yep, they haven't decided yet.
No.
Although recently, about a month ago, they asked to be furnished with all the exhibits. Now, courts don't usually do that unless they're paying close attention to what went on. When they first gave me a letter saying that my appeal was warranted, they asked the district court to submit all the court records except for the exhibits, because the exhibits in this case are monstrous. It's thousands and thousands of pages of documents. And so we had more evidence than anybody's ever had for such a simple case. And the court didn't want to, mess with those documents. And now there's been such much information presented to them that they now ask for all the exhibits. So that, to my lawyer, said that's a good sign because they're paying attention.
Yeah.
And I don't know, from my standpoint, from economical situation of jurisprudence, why they want to do all that, because this is a case about subject matter jurisdiction. And if the court doesn't have subject matter jurisdiction, they have no rights to make any rulings. And Judge Earl did not have subject matter jurisdiction to dictate that a home be sold in another state. He didn't even have jurisdiction in this state if the home was in this state, because the trust law protects the home. You can't sell a home that's in a trust.
Yeah,
It's not subject to the orders of the court.
that's common knowledge.
Yes, so that's step 101, and then you can't ever rule on a home not within your jurisdiction. It's a 2-year-old knows that. But why did Judge Earl do it? To get the money so he gets a good report from his lawyers. And he used to be over there in those chairs. He had to explain to us one time, I'm not that far removed from those chairs over there, so no lawyer's gonna work in my court pro bono. Is that something for the judge to be concerned about? If a lawyer's working in his courtroom pro bono? Since when is that the judge's action? It's pathetic. I get a little over the top because this has been going on too long. And now I got this other bozo over here making motions to the court that are just lies. It's just lies. And I can prove it. That's the point.
So
Everything I've ever submitted to the court has been proven because it's on file.
Tell you?
All he did was say that he just got this. The deadline was yesterday for this to be filed. It was probably filed like they usually do at 11:59 on the final second. They filed electronically with the courthouse, and the courthouse is closed. But because they filed it electronically, it's stamped the 28th of December at 11:59 at night. That's the tricks that they've done on every single filing. They file it at the last second.
Oh, I see.
It's a trick. Everything about these guys is just a trick. But at this point, they've done so many tricks. All their tricks become blatant. They're blatant tricks. You need somebody with some common sense left, if there's any of them around here, to look at this case and say, what in the hell is going on here? From the very first mistake that Earl made was a fatal mistake in this case. When he allowed this Howard Reutemann, the defense attorney that lost the case, when he allowed him to put in as defendants all the beneficiaries. I didn't sue anybody but my sister, and I sued her for access to bank records. That's it. That's what I sued. My original complaint is that way. That's all it was based on. Now, this lawyer of my sister figured out pretty soon, because my sister wasn't giving up the bank records, which should be easy to do. She wasn't giving them up because she knew it would hang her. So that was a sign to her lawyer, I got problems here, because I was expecting to get paid from the trust. I took this case on the whim, no retainer, no nothing. So if she's not the trustee because she loses because she's stealing money from the trust, how am I going to get paid? So he goes to his friend, the judge. Judge, if you want a good grade from me on your report card, you better make this a trust case so I can get paid. Oh, okay, Howard. Yeah, that sounds good. And then you can turn around and give me a nice campaign contribution, right? Oh, of course, Judge. I mean, what goes on in the back room? Only one can look at the results of what happened here and know what happened in the back room. It's obvious. This judge and the lawyers are in a scheme to rip off a trust. And the disingenuous part of this whole thing, you can't do that. Find me one person that says you can do that. You won't find them. And I have a United States Supreme Court decision that says just that. Any trust in any state cannot be any controlled at all from another court in another state. Can't be done. Can't be done. Find me one instance where that can be done. It can't. So it's like Earl said, 2 and 2 is 5. No, Judge, it's not 5. It is because I say so. Anything I say in this courtroom is the law. So now 2 and 2 is 5 from here on out because I said so. That's what happened here. It's ridiculous.
He said that?
Just the same thing.
Oh.
He says any decision he makes in his courtroom as to jurisdiction is the rule of law. So in other words, he said he had jurisdiction over this case. He has to prove he had jurisdiction over this case, which he never did. He said, as a matter of fact,
prove it because he don't have it.
where's the house? Where is the house, Judge? Is it in Nevada? Oh, no, it's in New Hampshire. Then you don't have jurisdiction, you moron. 2 and 2 is 4, not 5. I'm trying to put it in a context where people would know nothing between their brain can figure out. No, 2 and 2 is 4. Most people know that. Judge Earl's claiming it's 5, just to put it in context. That's exactly what he did, because the home is not in Nevada. Yeah. And you're a judge? Jesus Christ, thank God you're sitting at home on your couch or wherever the hell you are, because you're not qualified any longer to be a judge. You've lost your mind. And thanks for that, by the way. You did a real good job. You found in my favor, but then you tried to steal my house to pay the losing attorney. Who lost? And now I got another attorney telling me I lost? 2 and 2 is 5 again?
2 and 2 is 5. Oh my God. Only in Nevada you see that.
I don't know.
Well, not really, because New Hampshire is doing the same thing over there.
They said I
They
lost
go
in
along.
New Hampshire. They said I lost in New Hampshire. I went before the Supreme Court of New Hampshire on a simple question. Does the New Hampshire have sovereignty? Is New Hampshire a sovereign state? Can another state and another court control a home in New Hampshire?
And what did they say?
They said a judge in New Hampshire has allowed a Nevada court to assume jurisdiction over a New Hampshire trust. But they threw in the word, the judge in New Hampshire put in his decision to allow Nevada to assume jurisdiction was over the administration of a trust. Every word in law means something, okay? The administration of a trust is done usually by the trustee, and it's a personal item. So it falls in the purview of personal jurisdiction. Okay, my sister, it's disputable whether she was trustee or not ever, but let's say for this argument she was. So okay, she lived in Nevada, so supposedly she was doing trust business in Nevada. What she was doing was stealing trust money in Nevada. So anyways, that's administration, okay? That's management. That's somebody doing that. That's a person doing that. It's not like subject matter jurisdiction that's based on where is an item located and do you have jurisdiction. That would be the house in New Hampshire. That's in New Hampshire. That's subject matter jurisdiction. That's there. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's not on wheels. You can't bring it out.
You think we can invite that lawyer to come over here and this show?
Which one?
Kobiega?
Kobiega? He wouldn't show up in a million years.
No.
He's been in front of me before, and he admits to me face to face that I'm right, and he doesn't want any part of this case. But you know what changes? He realizes that Judge Earl had reserved $400,000 of my family's trust money to pay for lawyers should I appeal Judge Earl's ruling. Well, he didn't have jurisdiction to rule the way he did. So you're goddamn right I'm going to appeal it. He knew I was going to appeal it. He thought he could prevent me from appealing it by reserving my money to pay other lawyers to fight my appeal over law. You can't do that. You can't do that. He did it. Now, Corby Kobiega sees that trust money sitting there, so I'm gonna grab all this I can get. Well, the getting's good, because when the Supreme Court rules, according to what the United States Supreme Court has already ruled, they have to rule the same way. They have no choice. United States Supreme Court has said specifically that one state cannot control another state's trust. Period. End of case. Done. Over. And every lower court in the country, including the Supreme Court in Nevada, has to rule that way. So they know the day of reckoning's coming. So they're going to steal the money as fast as they can, and then it's going to be up to the court to rule that that money has to come back. Well, good luck.
And then they're not going to have money to give back.
Right, and one of them's dead anyways. So how are you going to get that money back? It's a raping of this country's laws. And this is not about me anymore. Okay, this is about the law in this country. Is there law in this country or not? So this is a national story that should have a huge repercussions. And this should be straightened out by the Department of Justice. And it should be straightened out soon. And the Nevada, well, we'll see how Nevada Supreme Court rules. But right now, the Department of Justice in New Hampshire should take this guy, Judge Patton, his name is, at the probate court in New Hampshire, that allowed Nevada to assume control. His out is he let him assume control over the administration. Okay, and then the Supreme Court says that Patton allowed another state to assume control of the jurisdiction. Well, it's not subject matter jurisdiction. Even the Supreme Court of New Hampshire doesn't get it right. They won't get it right because they listen to lawyers. They don't listen to the law. They listen to whatever jerk lawyer's in front of them. And why is that jerk lawyer there? To try to get paid from the trust. Hey, 5 Supreme Court justices in New Hampshire, what are you doing? You can't do this. Now, I write to the governor. What does the governor get back to me and say? That she doesn't have the power to intercede in the judiciary over a legal decision. I go, that's right, Judge. I agree with you. Over a legal decision. Listen to your own words, legal decision. So you're saying that New Hampshire doesn't exist anymore. You are now Nevada East. That's what you are. You are Nevada East because New Hampshire doesn't exist. That's what you're telling me. Because the Supreme Court said New Hampshire doesn't count. You don't have any jurisdiction. You have no sovereignty. You don't count. You call that a legal decision? Or is that an illegal decision? So you have checks and balances as the highest person in this state. You're the executive officer in this state. You need to straighten this out. It's not a legal decision.
But let me ask you, without going too far as expose your next strategy, what's the next step to take in this case now?
You told me not to expose it. That moment of brevity.
Well,
there.
don't go
Don't.
that far, but can you appeal that appeal?
The appeal that here hasn't been decided yet.
Oh.
Everybody, even New Hampshire, the Supreme Court, has said in their decision that the decision over sovereignty, they're now Nevada East is where they are. So they pointed to Nevada and they said, we understand that Mr. Feeley has an appeal in Nevada. So his issue should be with Nevada. So they passed the buck. Judges have a propensity to do that. They don't want to put on their pants and make a ruling. They always want to point fingers somewhere else, as do all bureaucrats. They don't want to do anything about their job. They just want to be there Friday afternoon to get their check. That's all they do. They don't want to do anything to earn it. They just want to point fingers and say that's somebody else's job. So the Supreme Court of New Hampshire said Nevada, it's under appeal in Nevada. So by them saying that, what that means is if Nevada finds that Nevada didn't have jurisdiction, as they don't, why? Because the home wasn't in Nevada, it was in New Hampshire, so that's a locked, that's a done deal. They have to rule that way. So when they do rule that way, then New Hampshire has already said that if Nevada rules that way, then it stands in New Hampshire too. So that domino, when that domino falls, all the dominoes fall. So I have to wait for the appeal here, otherwise, you know, I'm beating everybody up, except for the fact that I have a cashier's check that should have prevented this whole thing.
When I got a cashier's check to protect the assets of this trust, as I'm obligated to do as the trustee, I'm obligated to protect the trust at all costs. And that's even from enabling attacks from courts or anyone else, because they don't have the jurisdiction. So I have to protect the trust.
Right.
Well, I knew Earl was out of control and he was doing everything in the world to try to steal that money. So I went to my banker and I said, how can I protect this money? I said, give me the money, just give me cash. I'll lock it up someplace and no one will ever find it. He says, why the hell do you want to walk around with $1.5 million worth of cash? I said, I really don't, but I don't have any choice because I got a judge that's out of control. So he says, well, get a cashier's check. He says, the same thing as cash and it can't be countermanded, meaning it can't be stopped. If you have the check, you've got cash. So I said, okay, well, that'll work.
You don't think that the bank was also,
Not at that point.
no?
No. He knew everything. He knew all the facts. I gave him the case. I gave him the decision from the court. And he gave me the opinion. He said, well, I don't think an out-of-state judge has any control over a New Hampshire trust. That's what the banker told me. I go, I agree, he doesn't. So I said, how the hell do I protect this money? That's when he gave me the cashier's check. So I have a cashier's check. And that has to be paid to me in my order.
I wouldn't go to my kitchen, open a hole over there and put the money over there. I would not put the money in the bank. I
Well,
don't trust banks.
I don't either, but the other advantage of a cashier's check, let's say something happens wherever the cash is. The house catches on fire, the cash burns up. Now what do I do?
Wow.
I don't have anybody to go back to, right? If I lose the check, I, as the person who got the check,
Well,
has the
I tell you,
capability to go to the
I'd
bank
rather see
and say,
the
I
money-
lost the check. I can do that.
I'd rather see the money burn than give it to an attorney that don't deserve it.
Well, that's true. But on the other hand,
Honest
what
to
does that
God.
do to me? I deserve it. It's
Yes.
my family's money. I deserve it. My family deserves it. That's the only people
Them, I
that
put
deserve
them
it.
in different places. But now, you know, it's.
My point that I was getting to, you asked me what I was gonna do. The cashier's check is a negotiable instrument, okay? It's as good as cash. All courts in this country have determined that cashier's check has cash equivalency. So it's the same thing as if the bank had handed me cash.
Right.
Now, if somebody comes to the bank and says, wait a minute here, there's a lawsuit going on, and he's not the so-and-so, he doesn't have any rights to that money, blah, blah, blah. The bank can't even listen to that person, and they wouldn't even listen to him anyways if they'd already paid cash. How are they gonna take cash back? It's already been paid. It's already been paid. So how are they gonna take the cash back? Same thing with a cashier's check. Now, I'm the person that has the check. I'm the only person that can make a claim to the bank. I lost the check. It burned up in a fire. I need a replacement check. I can sign an affidavit as the last person to have the check, and that flies.
Are you trying to?
Now, I guarantee that if the check comes forth that I say is lost, then that doesn't count and I'm responsible for that check, because I lied to him. The bank takes an affidavit from the losing defense attorney saying that they never had the check but they lost it. Or it's in the hands of an unknown person, or it's in the hands of somebody not amendable to service. That's the line they picked on in the lost check provision. But they can't even sign an affidavit. Why? Because they're not the person who ever had the check. They never had the check. Why is the bank accepting an affidavit from them?
Yeah. And that's, and also if they sign the check, they are becoming a suspect on a fraud.
They knew that the check was not lost that
That's
I
what I'm
had.
saying.
I've sent them
But
numerous
if they
emails.
sign that piece of paper saying that the check is lost and
They signed an agreement agreeing to the fact that the check was lost. That's fraud.
that's fraud. That's
Judge
what I'm saying.
Earl-
That's what I'm saying.
Judge Earl made an order dictating that Howard Reutemann, the losing defense attorney, sign that agreement with the bank stating the check was lost. It says right in the agreement that I have the check. So now if if a court or whatever makes them pay the check, in the agreement it says if that happens, that the bank is gonna get the money back from the trust.
Did your attorney make any comment on that, and what happened today?
No, not yet, he just said he was gonna file a motion to
Well, so that's
object
a
to the
comment.
object.
That's a
Well,
comment.
okay, but he hasn't done anything
Can
yet.
he object to that,
Yeah,
he can object, right?
he can file an answer to this objection. This objection,
Oh,
From this-
yeah,
he hasn't done that yet. But this thing, I have to go through this and digest it, and then I have to write him an email telling him what's wrong with this objection that he made here. I mean, it's pathetic. Every single thing in there is a distortion. Every single line that I've read so far is a friggin' lie, and it's provable as a lie.
Yeah.
I'm listed on the case itself. My listing at the courthouse, my name lists me as the judgment creditor. It lists the other people that lost the case, my sister, as the judgment defendant, or judgment defendant. So it's against her. I'm the creditor judgment. She's the debtor judgment, I'm sorry. So I'm the creditor, I won. It's listed that way in the courthouse. I am the winner. And this friggin' lawyer says I'm the loser? 2 and 2's 5 again? When are we gonna find out that 2 and 2's 4? You can't make a lie to the court. He should be sanctioned for this motion.
Can you sue the judge?
You can when they have violated the principles of a long-established and well-known and identified law, like if you go on the internet or just walk down the street and ask someone, do you think you can stop payment on a cashier's check? Everybody that I've ever asked will say,
I know.
not
we did
only
that.
no, but hell no.
We did
They
that
don't
too.
say no, they say hell no. Go online and look online and it'll say you better not, you better not. Because you can't do that, it's cash. And it's accepted all over the world as a bona fide negotiable instrument in business commerce transactions. You have to have cashier's checks because that's the vehicle that everybody uses to close big deals. Is you have to have the reliability that that's a check written on a bank and the money was paid to the bank and the bank has the money. Now, even if the bank goes bottom up and goes broke, a cashier's check has to be paid because that's not a part of the bank's assets. They're holding that asset for someone else. So that has to be paid. It just has to be paid. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Because I gave them good value for that check. So I gave them money, they gave me the check, they have to give me the money back when I asked for it.
Do you give him cash or you give him money?
Well,
I mean, or you give a
I deposited a check in the bank 2 weeks before I got the cashier's check.
So the
The
check
check was a local check written from a lawyer's trust account in the same town from multi-millionaire bought my house. I mean, a billionaire actually bought the house, so the check's as good as gold. The check had already cleared, so there was no issue about the money. So they gave me a cashier's check. It was the bank's idea to give me. They were going to give me cash if I demanded it, but the banker talked me into taking a cashier's check. And then the bank turns around, another officer on the
That
bank.
bank has $1 million in the bank? Or they
The
have
bank is worth $40 billion.
But do they have the money there or they have to order it from?
Oh, well, they may have had it bring it from another branch or whatever. Or maybe there's another bank around there that they just swap money all the time. So, that's not an issue. But the issue was, it wasn't
I
smart.
was just curious.
It wasn't a smart idea, and I agreed with the banker to be walking around with $1.5 million in cash. That's a problem. I walk around
much
sometimes
money-
with $100,000 on me,
Is $1 million?
and that's not smart.
How big is $1.5 million? Like that size of it?
$1.5 million would fit in a briefcase. It would fit in there. Not much more than that, but it would fit. Let's say in a large briefcase, it would fit in one of those carry type.
Metal ones?
Like a flight bag that pilots use on an airplane is about the right size. That would fit $1.5 million. 100,000 is about yay high, about that high. So
Is
that's the- if that's
is
the
everybody seeing that now? Everybody's seeing that?
$100,000 is about that high of $100 bills,
No.
and it weighs 52 pounds. No. What am I saying? We were sitting around an office one day and we wanted to know how much a pound of hundreds. A pound of hundreds is $52,000. So that would be about 2 pounds. So we counted $100,000 one day. We counted a pound of hundreds, and it was $52,000. So we wanted to know, could we say, give me a pound of hundreds? Can I get you anything from the store? Yeah, give me a pound of hundreds. You know, as an expression that we use.
Yeah.
So one day we had nothing to do, sitting around an office in the oil field. So we decided to count out how much a pound of money was. It was $52,000. So we know that's a pound. So 100,000 would be 2 pounds. $1,000,005 would be 2 times 15 would be 30 pounds.
Well, I'm glad that Donald Trump could not make it here today because
He just did.
you will not let him talk today.
No,
You know,
I just
the
found
next-
out about
the
this
next time.
after we came on the air. is
The
when I-
next time, I have. Look, Donald Trump just walked out because you didn't give him a chance to talk.
I know it. I'm
You know,
sorry.
that's rude.
Well, my
You
show coming
invite a
up.
guy to fly in here,
I
fly in
know.
here.
Maybe at 2 o'clock I'll let him come on and say a few words. Say a few words about Hillary
Yeah.
and Bill.
If I would have known that, I would have stayed home. Jesus Christ, you didn't give me a chance to say anything.
You asked me a question, I gave you
I
the
know,
answer. You
I
had to
know.
say, what are you
It's
doing
my
over
fault.
there? You said, what are you doing over there? Well, I told you.
It's my fault.
Exactly.
Now it's my fault. The poor Cuban refugee have
Yeah.
to pay
Yeah.
the consequence.
Yep.
Okay. Well, folks, it is one more day of shows. Tomorrow will be our last show. Oh, no. Tomorrow, right?
Well, let's make it that way. What is tomorrow's Wednesday? Yeah, I'm not gonna do a show on Thursday. That's New Year's Eve. I'll be too drunk by then.
Really? Why?
I get up right in the morning and start drinking on New Year's
On the eve?
in the eve. Yes.
Why?
Because the holiday,
It's
you
New
have to
Year's Day.
sober up. You don't get drunk on the day. You sober up on that day. That's it's a new year.
Oh.
See, I don't want to start out the new year drunk,
Uh-huh.
but I want to close out this last nightmare
So
that
you
I've
don't want
had.
to do a show on Thursday?
I'll be drunk. I'll do a show.
At 12 o'clock you'll be drunk?
I'll be drunk at 12:05 a.m. on Thursday.
Oh, a.m.
Yeah.
but not p.m.
Yeah, by 2 o'clock p.m. I'll be on the floor someplace. You kidding me?
Oh.
After what I've been through this last year, have court
Yeah, but
stealing
we did
$1.5
show.
million.
We did a show last Thursday, didn't we?
But that was Christmas Eve. That doesn't mean I don't get drunk Christmas Eve. I don't care about Christmas.
Really?
Right.
Why?
Because that's a retail scam. It's by all the retailers want you to spend all your money with them.
Oh.
Well, I already had all my money stolen by the courts. So I didn't have any money to spend anyways, because Judge Earl already stole it to give to his buddy lawyers.
Whoa. So, okay. So, I don't know. We decide that tomorrow. I see you tomorrow in the radio again. So,
We'll see if you get anything to say.
yeah.
We'll
maybe-
try to reserve
Maybe
tomorrow's show
tomorrow
for
I
you.
get a chance to say good morning, everybody. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Clark, for being here and expand on that in those articles that we've been writing for the last 3 months. You know, it is unbelievable that those things happen. You go outside this country and you tell people that those things happening in the United States of America and they think you are crazy. They don't believe you.
Well, they'll say, yeah, well, we told you so. It's only taken you 250 years to realize that the whole world's run by dictators. It's not run by a free society. What are you, crazy?
Well, but I don't consider George Earl a dictator. I consider him.
No, he's someone that doesn't know math. He doesn't know that 2 and 2 is 4, not 5. He doesn't know that he does not have the power to dictate that a home across the nation, 3,000 miles away, cannot be in his power. He doesn't have, he's not a New Hampshire judge, he's a Nevada judge. He doesn't know that. The man should never have been on the bench. Ever.
Have a nice day. Thank you for listening and stay tuned for Wake Up Call with Dr. Steve Capitan Truce Dempsey, and at 2 o'clock is The Herd,
Part 2.
part 2 of The Herd. with Clark Feeley.
Gee, sorry about